Welcome to Fishing Fridays radio podcast, where we go behind the scenes and uncover the tactics and strategies top fishermen are using to catch more fish, dominate tournaments, and how you can get those same results. Here is your host, Mike Grady.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dig In Fishing Fridays. I'm your host, Mike Grady. I'm excited today because today we have Tyler Rivet here. Tyler is a Bassmaster Elite Series angler from Raceland, Louisiana. Tyler has been going after his dream of being a pro fisherman since he was at college at Nicholls State, where he actually started the Nicholls State Fishing Team. Tyler is one of only two people to qualify for the Bassmaster College Championship all 5 years of eligibility. And when he's not fishing, he's in the gym, working out, and staying fit. So, everybody, welcome Tyler.
How's it going?
Good, man. So, Tyler, you were telling me in the green room a little bit about your college days, but maybe you could start at the beginning. Tell us, how did you get into fishing, and then once you got into fishing, how did you get into fishing competitively?
Well, I have to give it to my grandpa and my dad. I grew up with them just around. We live around water. Same thing in Florida. Water's all around us. So if we're not in the water, we're in the woods. But I think I really fell in love with fishing with my grandpa and my dad. They taught me the basics, and the main reason I love the outdoors so much. And once I got my first boat from them, it was just like with a little bitty mud motor, a little Go Devil, what we call them, and little 6 horsepower. And we got some real shallow lakes around here that's literally right behind my old house. And I was in that lake every day just fishing. And I think once I started growing up, it just kind of hit me like how much I really love outdoors, and mainly fishing. It's just crazy. It's just an awesome feeling just being on the water. And especially now, just traveling all over the country, like just how beautiful it is out there. I just love seeing everything. But fishing competitively, actually, it's like a question I get a lot that I tell most people that it's mainly because like I love the adrenaline rush, I should say. I've been fishing since I was 16 in tournaments, and still get the butterflies whenever I'm sitting there waiting to go to a tournament and or waiting to take off. That's the best thing. It's like when the adrenaline rush is hitting you. I get adrenaline just thinking about it, actually. But the main thing is like just racing everybody to the spot. I love that. The adrenaline right there, just going fast. I'm a fast person.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like a real addiction.
Oh, it is.
That's nice. So let me ask you, when it comes to competitive fishing, both, I think you said you were competitive fishing in high school and then college, and then of course now being a young guy, you've moved up to the Elite Series pretty quick, huh?
Oh yeah, I think I'm the youngest elite angler on there. I don't know if that means anything. It might be a little scary.
What's it like when you see all those big names out there like Van Dam?
Oh, it's crazy. That was my dream, sitting in the living room when I was a kid, just watching all this TV and all these fishing shows with Bill Dance, KVD, and all these big guys that are up there. And I was like, I never realized never thought I'd be fishing against him one day, It's just it's an awesome feeling, and I feel very privileged and honored.
Something I like to say is train until your idols become rivals.
That's right.
So let me ask you.
Sure.
What's that?
I guess that's a good way to look at it for sure. I never really said it like that, but yeah, that's exactly true.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite T-shirts. So let me ask you, in moving up as quickly as you have, what's been the biggest challenge or problem you found in competitive fishing now that you're at the highest level?
Well, I learned it pretty quick that the biggest challenge, I'd say, is you got to get it in your head that you will have more losses than wins for sure. It's not a winning game for sure. You're going to have way more losses, but the wins are what takes away from the losses, I'd say. Just, get that. It's just like for a lot of people's club tournaments. That's what I grew up doing, is fishing club tournaments. And even with like 30 teams that you're fishing against, and you come out first, you still think you're the KVD of around here. It's an awesome feeling, but like there's 12 tournaments a year, say once a month, and you might win one or two, and it's crazy the odds of winning one now. But that's what I learned pretty quick was you got to have a lot more losses than anything. But it's still fishing. I just love being out there, so I take it, say, oh well, and go to the next one. And let's see, I think, and that's another thing is that everybody wants the same thing, I'd say, because everybody's going to win, you know. So you got to have that mindset saying, you know what, we're going to win. We're going to do it even better. We're going to beat that guy that wants to win even more than us. So, that's one thing that helps out a lot, saying that and keep that in your head all day. Well, even if it's a bad fishing day, you want to win. That's what you're there for. If you didn't want to win, why are you even at the tournament? That's what I say. And,
so as you moved up through the college ranks and now into the pro ranks, and of course, you know, again, at the highest level, what have you learned that's helped you succeed where other guys may have struggled?
I think the best thing I've learned is consistency. I've learned that just from just stats and facts of me fishing, like doing good in tournaments and just having an average day every day turns out to be a great day at the end of the tournament when I'm actually making it to the last day. But consistency is definitely the key. And I try to find something that's like a starting pattern instead of a dying pattern. That's always the number one thing, because you want to find something that's where fish are coming to you instead of leaving you, because the more fish at you, the better chances you have to catch a fish, I say. But if you find something that's a dying pattern, let's say, I could say, for instance, right now, it's a great time if you find some fish spawning. It might be a post-spawn pattern in a way. You find a few fish out, and you're going to go target them for a tournament, and the tournament's in 3 or 4 days. In 3 or 4 days, them fish might be done spawning and move out of there. You go there for the tournament, they all gone. They're all post-spawn. So that's like one deal. Like, I'd rather find them fish that are in that post-spawn pattern than the fish that are spawning coming to leaving the spawn pattern.
So it sounds to me like you've got a plan when you're going into a tournament or even a body of water.
Oh, I'd say I always have a plan. It might not be a good one, but I figure it out. There's always an A, B, C, and D, and normally it's an A or B, and then that C part is kind of where I'm like scratching my head. But I always have like this little pet peeve of having a plan. It's kind of, I'll mark every spot that I'll catch fish with some stop signs on my low ranch units, and some little red stop signs. And every time I mark them, I'll sit there, and before the tournament, I'll sit there on my low ranches at night, and I'll mark all the ones that I want to fish. I'll turn them from red stop signs to green stop signs on my on the low ranch, and it kind of helps me get a game plan of like a trail of where I'm gonna hit this one first, that one next, and it definitely helps out for sure with not wasting time. But like I said, a lot of times like it won't work out, and it's the best thing I've learned is just to kind of sit there. Like everybody freaks out, like, man, you just sitting here in the tournament, and I'm really just kind of like sitting there, drop my rods down, pick everything up, cut everything off the line, and just ride around, just run as fast as I can, get it all out my system, and I'll go down the lake. I'll see something like, man, that looks good. I'm stop there, and it might end up working out even better than what my plan was, you know.
When it comes to your plan, what's the hardest part about implementing your plan? Is it patience? Is it, okay, this is working, and if I just give it 5 more minutes, or are you just like, oh, forget it, I'm moving?
Yeah, that's fishing right there in that question, I think, because you never have that answer given to you, because the hardest part I find is whenever you go to your first couple spots and they're not working, you're like, oh man, like, so now what? And that's when your mind starts racing. It's like, one, do I wait another 30 minutes until they might actually turn on, or they might not turn on all day? That's where you start going back and forth in your head, and it starts racing all around, and you're like, I don't know what to do, this or that. Do I leave? Do I stay? And that's the fishing part right there. So that's when you got to sit there and make up that mind of, you know what, I'm going to sit here for another 30 minutes. If nothing, then I'm definitely leaving. But definitely that's the hardest part, is whenever your first couple spots don't pan out, and then you got to start brainwashing stuff of what to do during the tournament day while you're wasting hours, I should say.
So when you're going through your plan or your process, What results have you gotten from implementing your plan?
Well, I mean, the results vary, of course, I'd say. Like, I mean, that's why I love fishing. You never know how good or bad your choices were until the end of the tournament. And, it's definitely a learning experience for sure with the results. And it's really aggravating some days whenever, after the results, I should say, from my choices, that's like, man, if I'd have just actually stayed at that spot for 30 more minutes where the guy just pulled in, I could see it on the post on a Bassmaster or something. I could see exactly where he was, and that was my spot I was at, and I left. If I'd have stayed there, like I said, I would for 30 more minutes, I'd have won the tournament, basically. But, yeah, that's one thing with the results. It's like you never know how good or bad your choices are, and that's where you learn at, for sure. I learn from the mistakes, for sure. I write them down, and next tournament that's kind of similar situation, I'll know not to do that, for sure.
And that, I ask this of a lot of guys. Is that what you're doing? Are you keeping this in your head when you're fishing, or are you writing them down as you go? Or is it one of those things like you debrief yourself and write it down after you're done?
Well, I think it's a mind thing. I write a few things down, kind of. But it's fishing. Like, I wish I had this, I don't know, in me that for college, just actually for my career, just trying to take tests and stuff. Cause I couldn't remember anything going to a test. I'm like, oh man, like, what was that answer again? I tried reading, but if I read something about fishing, I could remember 10 years from now. And, or like a spot, like down here when I'm fishing just a tournament, I'm like, oh yeah, I caught a fish right there, last year at 10:30 a.m. on this frog. Or like I can remember something like that. It's crazy. Or go to a lake that I've been to once and might have been like 8 years ago, and I show up there and I'm like, yeah, I caught this fish on this date on that time, and it's crazy how I remember that much stuff with that. But yeah, it's definitely just stuck in my head, and I guess that's a good thing for fishing.
Yeah, that's a real talent. So
I guess.
Let me ask you, since you started tournament fishing, can you kind of give us an idea of what's the most important thing you've learned that's made you successful at your level?
Oh, I'd say it's a hard thing because I still do it to this day, but the best thing I learned is to go with your gut. Not your mind or anything like that. Your mind's racing, remember? Like, you're going back and forth, you don't know what to do. But whenever you sit there and it's like that gut starts hurting you, like, you know what? Like, stay here and punch it out or something like that. I mean, your gut's right 99% of the time for anything. Like, it's a scary thing, and that's the one thing about fishing. Like, you don't know if that gut feeling's good or bad, and I think 90% of the time it is, because my gut feelings are always telling me, do what you want. Do what you like to do, I should say. Because, for instance, I'm a shallow fisherman down here in South Louisiana. We ain't got no deep water. 6 foot's pretty deep for us, but same thing down there in Florida. But definitely, it's like when I'm going to these different lakes, and I got these awesome units on my boat. I got the 16-inch low rances, the 212s. I got all this stuff where you can see fish, their fins, everything. And I'll find fish deep for tournaments or for practice, I'd say. And I end up just kind of messing myself up if I try to fish them fish for the tournaments where it's just deep fish, and I kind of don't really, I know how to catch them, I'd say, but for tournament, I kind of freak out at that moment where do I stay or do I wait for them? Do I leave and go try to find another school? That's where I'm just, that's why I say go with what you like, and that's what I'm going to try to implement on the Bassmaster Elite Series, is kind of doing what I like instead of trying to figure out what everybody else is doing.
Nice. Well, lastly, as we come to the end of our interview, I want to ask you, and I always ask these questions, what is your most successful fishing secret?
I think it's basically what I almost said. It's just like, do what you like, for sure, because your confidence level goes up in what you love. Like, my favorite technique is just fishing shallow, I say, that's what I like to do. I know I'm confident in it. I know I can catch fish in it, and that's I think the secret is, because a lot of people, like, just fishing with college, I learned it through a lot, like, once I got to my, senior years, and watching all these new guys come in college, and I was like, man, I was in their shoes doing the same mistakes. They just running and gunning, trying these new things, and I'm like, man, I'm from South Louisiana. What are y'all doing fishing 40 foot of water? And they're like, that's what they said. I'm like, don't do what they said. Do what you want. Like, do what you know how you could catch fish. And sure enough, like, it helped me succeed in the college career for sure. It's doing what I want. And the number one thing, I even got it tattooed on me. Like, it just reminds me, if I look down every day while I'm fishing, and I'm just down in the dumps and I see it on my arm, it says never give up. It's a tattoo. And that kind of keeps me going, like fishing till 3 o'clock, 2:59 when I kind of like, all right, I think I need to leave to actually be in time. But that's one thing that everybody tells me, that even fishing little local tournaments, just like some of my buddies, they'll sit at the boat at like 1:30 if we ain't got nothing. I'm like, come on, man, we got to stay. Like, you never know when that next bite's going to be. So that's what I learned, is to never give up. And it actually comes pretty good to you. Like, I could say, for instance, this one time, it's actually how I made it to the Elite Series. I was on Logan Martin Lake, and I did good all year for these opens. And in the Logan Martin Lake, it kind of messed me up. I had a game plan, like I said, but it wasn't good enough game plan. Everybody had a better game plan. I thought catching 8-9 pounds a day, because it was a tough tournament, that I'd do good, and I caught 8-9 pounds a day, and I ended up like 65th. But if I wouldn't have ended up 65th, and I would have dropped 67th by like 2 more points or so, I wouldn't have made it into the Bassmaster Championship for the Opens. But it was at 2:55, and I had to be in for 3. I was fishing not far from the takeoff, and I picked up my trolling motor. I'm like, man, I kind of didn't give up that moment where I said never give up. I kind of skipped that shaky head under one of them docks, and I was picking up the trolling motor, strapping my rods. I picked up that rod, and I felt a little thick. I set the hook, pulled him in, flipped him in. Actually, it was just a bad day. He actually came in the boat, and he actually called up maybe like a pound, maybe a pound, a half a pound. But if I wouldn't have caught that fish in that last minute, I wouldn't have made it to possibly the Elite Series or the Bassmaster Championship for the Opens. That's how close the points were. So that's right there, kind of God saying, like, you know what, you might not want to give up on this, and here's this fish for you.
Nice. That's a life lesson right there.
Definitely.
All right, second question. What's your most successful or your favorite lure or bait?
Man, it's definitely a frog. A topwater frog. Mainly, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but Spro. Just the Spro frogs or anything like that. It's just, I love that topwater popping action. It's my favorite go-to. Like, I have it on right now. I tie it on down here in January for us, and that's what I love. Like, I could catch fish on it anywhere. If it's shallow water, I'll catch fish on a frog, and that's my confidence deal right there. It's a frog for sure, and I just love the blow-ups. That's the main part. You can't get over a 4-pounder come and explode on your bait. Even if it's a 2-pounder, I freak out and start jumping up and down like, oh, smokes. But definitely a frog. It's a confidence bait for me, and I know I can catch big fish. If I hold it in my hand all day for a tournament where they actually hitting frogs, I could catch 5 big fish on it.
Nice. Well, like I said, as we come to the end of our interview, there is the business side of this. So do you have anything that you want to promote? And if you do, tell our listeners what it is and how to get it.
Well, this year it's tough for me right now, but I just got to thank all the sponsors I got right now. Just the ones that helped me, my main sponsors, American Custom Yachts. I think they actually located in Florida, but that's one of my big sponsors that helped out, and I know that in Florida it's all about yachts, so definitely go check them out for sure. And I got to give it to Denali Rods. That's my rod sponsor, and they've been with me for a while, and I love them. I haven't really broken a rod yet on just fishing. I've actually stepped on a few, but that wasn't on them. And then 6-Gill Reels, so I got to give it to them too. They helped me through my whole college career, and I hope to stay with them. They got some great products, and I hope to prove them right when I get into the Elite Series for sure. And most of all, it's my family. I can't forget them. That's the biggest support system I have, is going to all these tournaments, and they'll actually come with me, and that helps me get through them tournaments when I know they have to waiting for me to come in. I'm like, you know what, I gotta bring in something for them. So definitely, I appreciate all of them for sure, and just everybody, just awesome.
Nice. Tyler, this has been a great interview. I'd like to thank you for all the great information, and thanks for being on our show.
All right, sounds good. Call anytime. I can talk about fishing all day.
All right, man. Good luck in the Elite Series this year.
All right, thank you. Sounds good.
Thanks for listening to Fishing Fridays Radio Podcast. If you'd like to be notified anytime we release a new episode, just hit subscribe and like this episode. Or you can subscribe over at fishingfridaysradio.com. In addition to that, we would love to send you a free gift. You can find that free gift at giveaway.digandanchors.com. Thanks again for listening.